Okay. All right, guys. Welcome. It's the TLC Unleashed Show, Hollywood Vibes, Sports and Life, and we are live here in Long Beach today. I've got with me entrepreneur, business coach slash motivational speaker, the man that does it all, Mike Matus.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Tracy.
We are here at your gym, so First Step Fitness. In Long Beach.
Yes.
A great facility. I mean, this is a huge facility.
Yes. Yeah. So I founded First Step Fitness in 2009, and where we're sitting in this space right here is going to be the future site of what we're calling the Launch Lab, which is Long Beach's first business incubator. You know, I love fitness, is my first love, but the whole thing about fitness was to also spread the, you know, kind of the gospel of entrepreneurship and how to help fitness pros, wellness pros really run their business better, more efficiently. Because as coaches, and you know this, and you, especially in fitness and wellness, you give so much of yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a team and if you don't have a business machine around it, it can really burn you out.
Yeah.
So I pivoted, and you know, I've ran a successful company. I have great team members, great partners. But I knew when it was time for me to hang up my shoes and hand the reins to people that were better inclined to run the technical side of my business, so I could focus.
Ideas and wants to run the world.
Yeah.
This is a guy that can help me put things into place so that I can be organized and consolidate things into a pretty nice little package.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for all the great things. I mean, that makes me feel good. I love helping people. What I defined was, you know, I was a brick and mortar owner, and it really comes down to now there's this new kind of buzzword in business and in tech, and it's market disruption. And what I learned the hard way and really was humbling was that things don't last forever. And if you're stuck in old mindsets or whatever, or old metrics to measure new realities. And so, you know, you got to continue to upgrade your circle of influence, your education, the way you think, your systems, everything like that. And so through that process of really just kind of getting my butt handed to me, right? Like for about 3 or 4 years. It taught me that your adversity is your advantage. And so I came up with a system for how to help people do just that. And I created a program, the coaching program you're referring to is called the Real World MBA. And I have 3 phases or 3 principles that I go by.
Okay.
And the first one is M. And so M is all about studying your money and your model, right? So money is like a demonized word. You know, people are like, money, it's not all about the money. Don't be all about the money. But I think money is the most important thing. And, you know, you might call it money, and not you, but people might call it money. And really there's a currency for everything, right? So like there's a currency for relationship. There's a currency for how, you know, and basically what that means is just how you value things.
True.
And so if you don't have a business plan, that's where you start the first step for how you value your time, your energy, your relationships. It's really hard to drive a car without a GPS, you know?
True.
And we get so, you know, consumed by technology that we need those targets in our daily life.
Yeah.
And then B is always having a brand that serves your buyer. Because everyone's like, you know, branding this, branding that, like my brand. And that's kind of like a new, would you agree? That's kind of like a new occurrence.
Totally. Everyone's like, I got to create and build my brand. You hear that all the time. It's so cliche now.
And
I get caught doing it too.
Yeah, and it's important, right? There's a difference between having a brand and then branding.
Yes.
I think branding's like Madison Avenue, like big budgets. I think like Nike, they have the $1 billion advertising budget that they can go brand and just kind of be broad. Where small business owners, we have to be specific. We got to get to our buyer. And so the brand has to serve the buyer first. And so it's got to be about service, because if they don't win, you're going to lose, right? And so everything's about like, if it's about like me, what I do, right? Then it's not about that. That's why I appreciate the kind praise, right? Because all I want to do is spotlight your success and Chris's success, who's coming on in a little bit. It's not about me. And then the last thing is A. And I always say this, like, we live in an attention economy, and attention is probably the scarcest commodity on the planet right now. And it'll probably be like that for a long time to come. Is like getting people's attention, getting them to focus. We're just distracted by like the 27 different devices. And I'm the same way, right? Getting in, sitting down, and just going like on one path till it's done, like, is probably the hardest thing. And ADD, attention's always like a scarce commodity.
Yeah, it's super important because we are distracted by so many things. Social media, just the hype of life, and just it's busy.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to focus, really hard to focus in on that.
Yeah. So we put together a blueprint. It's a 90-day kickstart, right? Which you're like starting to see, like, right? It's like bunker down, we roll our sleeves up. It's different than any type of coaching program because we give more access. Yeah. It's not about like, have this amount of time. It's like, let's solve it till it gets done. Yeah. And then once 90 days comes in, it's so much easier to continue on a regular path once you get like everything, your business plan, your marketing plan, your team in line. Yeah. I call it the dream, the team, and the machine, the 3 phases. So like really easy to build the dream, right? Yeah. You're actually really, really good since we've been talking like at building the dream. You got these huge ideas. Yeah. It's actually really hard to think big. Right? Yeah. So that's a trait that you have a lot, right? Team is about finding the right team. It doesn't always have to be this like huge, you got a huge following, but now we're like focused on like making sure it's the right people. Yeah. And the machine's always the hardest, right? The
key players. Yeah. And what about, what is the biggest struggle that you hear from people, that you're coaching? Is it just getting focused and creating that brand? What is it? Because I know it's like all those things for me.
Yeah, for sure. 3. So I got all those problems right because I listened, right? Like I didn't just put this together. I had coaches, like I listened, I studied. Yeah. Honestly, the biggest problem, and I'll tell you this right now, and that's why like I wanted to make sure that the people that are coming on later are going to be here. Perfect. Yeah. Perfection is killing entrepreneurs. And I will tell you this right now. So my company is called MVP, Matus Venture Partners. This was like a dream of mine. This was like, we talk about your brand and we've been talking about like all the things you're doing and how the dream's finally coming true, right? For me, it was about being an angel investor. Mom always said I was going to be an angel, and I told her I'm going to be an angel investor, right? So angel investor means that I put my own skin in the game along with my venture partners, but we roll up our sleeves and it's about startups. It's not about it could be about funding like the next big Facebook, but it's really about small business owners, entrepreneurship, and really like the heart of America. Yeah. And in MVP, we go by the mantra minimum viable product, right? So like done is better than perfect. You're like, if you wait till you're perfect, the market's going to pass you by. Yeah. So like it polished and everything like that, that's not really real, right? And the market, even like your ideas, they're fuzzy, they're rough diamonds, people are going to give you feedback. And like and just to spread that mantra and be like, it's okay. Like you don't have to be like polished, suit and tie. Like people will love you and will respect you for the whole journey. They now with social media, like we want to follow along. Yeah. So if you just give it to me in like perfection, right? I don't get to see the process. I kind of feel like I'm missing out. Like I want the whole show. Right?
That's a really good point. And being a perfectionist myself is because it's always like, okay, no, I'll add a little more. Yeah. I'll do that. No, I don't want to show the dean of the company, a crappy product. So it's like, I want to wait till it's perfect, then I'll send it to you. Yeah. So I can see how that would happen a lot with different people.
It does. You're right.
Yeah. What about the fact where we're giving, this information away to like 25 people and they're giving us their feedback and opinion. Say we give it to our mom, we give it to our, best friend, we give it to some guy that doesn't know anything about business, we give it to another. So what happens with something like that?
So honestly, at the end of the day, it's about gut instinct. People told me never start a gym in Long Beach, it'll never go. Mike, stay in Newport. And I'm like, but this is where I'm from. Like I want to do something big. Mike, don't ever do this. And it works. Right? So there's criticism and critiquing. Yes. And then at the end of the day, it's a gut feeling. Like I never like want to mistake critiquing and with like outright criticism, because the thing about entrepreneurship is if you really study it, like I'm a student of entrepreneurship. It's to me, it's like I don't want to go as far as like religion, but it's like in my DNA. Yes. Right? So I really want to help entrepreneurs as a lifestyle. It's not just like something I put on a business card. Yeah. That being said, if you look and study like the greatest entrepreneurs, they were like talked out of with like don't do this. You're going to fail. Don't do it. And they went against the grain, right? And they learned as is. Like Bill Gates, I was just watching a documentary. He didn't even have anything set up. He went to go pitch IBM. He didn't have the software. Right? It wasn't perfect. He had to go buy it, right? So he packaged it, he marketed it, sold it, and then fulfilled it and packaged it, right? Yeah. So there's so many different ways, not one size fits all, but a lot of times people are going to be talking you out of it, and you have to be able to have the values, like, you know what, I can do this. Yeah. One of the things that I find, and hence why I wanted to start the real world business school, is that I know why perfection is killing entrepreneurship, and not just entrepreneurs, but it's getting people down in general. Is there's a 18-year mechanism that conditions people to hate failure, and it's called school. Right? That's the initial intention, right? So it's this 18-year mechanism that, like, if you get an F, like, you're a failure, right? And failure is not the worst thing. If you fail early, then maybe you have the rest of the semester to get to that A, but you get feedback. Yeah. But if you've gone through school and the only, let's say, time or the only experience you've had with failure is just a little bit, like, don't do it, and then you get into the real world, it's going to be really, really tough to put things in perspective. Yeah. You're gonna run from pain instead of running towards pleasure.
It's fear. I totally agree. I still have test anxiety. Yeah. I can know everything. I mean, even with fitness and stuff, anatomy tests are hard. Yeah. And Cody will vouch for that when he comes on. Yeah. Because those tests are really hard, and I know that information. As soon as the pencil touched the paper, I freaked out and I forgot everything. Sure. And I was like, how does that happen? But that's fear, and that's what they inbred it into us, unfortunately. Yeah. And over the years.
Yeah, and my first book was called Not Another Broke Trainer, and it was how basically don't go broke trying to study yesterday's champions. Like, always have to reinvent, constant reinvention. If you stay by the old metrics, you're going to lose, right? Yeah. That kind of got me on this whole, like, Not Another series, right? Mm-hmm. So my next book that I'm working on is specifically geared towards millennials, and it's called Not Another Broke Generation. I graduated in 2007, and from the 10 years from 7 to 17, we've been referred to as, like, the ninja generation. No income, no jobs, no assets, right? And it's like, and we're like, we're the only generation that, like, shouldn't be more successful than our parents. And I don't think I want to, like, have that tagline when I pass it on to my kids, right?
No, absolutely not. That's a good point. At this point, this is where we want to bring Cody in, because you guys, I'd like to welcome a very special person to the show today. This is Cody, my son, and Cody just got in town from Vancouver, BC, Canada, where he lives, and he's going to tell you a little bit about him, but this is prime example because Cody just graduated from university, and let's share with everybody what you were taking, and I'm a proud mom. I mean, this kid is a genius, of course, like his mom.
Cool. We'll go genius for now. But, so for myself and my schooling, I graduated from the University of Waterloo, which is in Ontario, Canada. Oh, cool. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Kinesiology and also a minor in Human Nutrition, and that was kind of the route, more things I'm looking towards. Right now, I'm going to be going back to Vancouver, and I became involved with a company called Twist Performance and Wellness, and I'm going to start out there as a strength and conditioning coach, essentially when I go back after this weekend. So that's coming up soon. And kind of doing my training. I was there as an intern for the past 3 months, but it was one of those things where it was kind of fortuitous because I applied to grad school for the past year. So I got to university and I was basically flat broke, more or less, after living on my own and paying tuition and doing all those things on my own, and kind of having to go to school and still work and volunteer and do all these things because they said, if you want to go to school, you have to have all the references, you have to have the extracurriculars, but also you have to be really smart and make sure you're good at everything. So I applied to grad schools and I didn't get the funding that I wanted, unfortunately, and just paying out of pocket for them, especially schools in the States, coming as an international student from Canada is incredibly pricey. And by getting rejected from these schools, or at least not getting the funding, which didn't afford me the opportunity to go, I actually got the opportunity to intern at Twist, and now I'm going to come back and you'll actually be part of the fitness industry and get experience and gain valuable experience I didn't get in school, that you just by sitting and learning and writing. And I found out, like, I am a good student. I'm a great student. I take tests well, which is ironic that you say that because I sit down and I can pull information that I didn't even know I had, or get lucky and have just educated guesses. And now when I'm coming into the real world and I did practicing on functional assessments and things, or running group classes, I'm finding that it's different than writing a test, because it's the real world where you can run a functional assessment like it's the back of your hand, but if you sit down to write a test, I mean, you differ.
So did I get that problem? Because I really, like, the thing about, like, I love coaching, but I also love designing coaching programs for others. Like, I'm gonna kill it for Traci, and I'm gonna kill it for Chris over here.
He's already killing it for me. It's like just the beginning.
But it's about listening, and I surveyed and did so much market research in preparing the Real World MBA, and listening to, like, hundreds, if not thousands, of students just like you, and they're like, real world disconnect, and I'm like, what? You know, like,
Totally. Because I learned a lot of science, and there was a lot of science on paper and learning about different enzymes and things and anatomy, but it's not about populations. Because one, everyone is different, and every single client, every situation is so different, and the best answer in every case is it depends. There's no right answer. There's just a better answer is what you can find.
So having said that, we've got the classic case right here of the millennial coming in, and you've got this situation. So how would we handle this? And give us a little breakdown of how you would, with your MVP program, build a program for Cody so that we could get him, on the right path.
So, like, and we talked about this pre-show. He's like the 1% of the 1%, right? Like, there's only, like, when you get to this level of, like, training, becoming kin degree, right? And then graduate degree, and then training at, like, a top-level performance, right? You're gonna get taught by the best of the best, right? And so basically what's going to happen is, like, just predicting, like, your future, right, is, like, stay on this track for 5 years, and the best move for you is going and licensing back, I call it your genius, to other trainers. There's a huge disconnect in the training industry. There's strength coaches, and then there's trainers. And trainers are really not sure if they want to make fitness their career. They're like, well, I got applications into the fire department, nursing, paramedics, and police, right? So I'm just going to do this training thing until, like, we figure it out, right? So they're like half in, half out, right? Where strength coaches are like, this is my calling, this is my passion, right? And the problem is that the market now, it's really hard to tell the difference. It's really hard to tell the difference between a CrossFit trainer and a strength coach,
100%. So even me explaining to people, and they're like, "Oh, so you're a personal trainer?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am, and then some."
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, there is a finer distinction between them. They're not just all the same thing. There is
and what I'll tell you this is, like, this is that you have to have a brand that's unique around, because exercise is a commodity. So, like, give out the stuff for free, and then what people will invest in is your strategies, your ideas, your concepts, and your systems, right? And they're going to invest in you, right? People buy two things. They buy speed and ease, right? So, like a coach is going to, like, you're going to get their trainers there faster. You're going to get your clients there faster, your athletes there faster. And then they're going to gauge you on how easy it is to work with you, right? Like I trained people, or I coached people for almost a decade, fitness and now in business, right? And what I'll tell you is this: you're never going to have an ideal situation. Right. It's not like on paper you could just totally look. I got strength curves. I got periodization tables. I got the whole macros, and they come in and it's like, broke up with my boyfriend. Like, whatever, right? And you're like, well, I didn't take that course in kids school. Like,
that's why I got a counseling degree.
There was no section on Haagen-Dazs in the nutrition course, and, like, how it affects your periodization. Exactly.
And the other side of it is like, I know my value, I know what I offer, but I got to communicate it, and that's also something they didn't learn. It was something. What was funny was I was always looking for guys like this. I was like, hey, I hope no one mistakes me for a trainer, because, like, I don't know all the smart stuff. I got C's in kinesiology, right? I got A's in marketing. I'm like, so, hey, could you help me? Like, and that was my cousin. My cousin was a national championship winning strength coach at USC. She won 2 national championships at USC. She won 2 national championships at Notre Dame and LMU. And she goes, here, Mike, I'm going to do you a favor. And she gave me the playbook, all the workouts. And I was like, this instantly made me, like, more credible. Instantly made me look like I was like, wow, you're really coming with some unique stuff. We've never seen half these exercises. So I just flipped the script, and I'm like, I'm going to make the playbook for the business playbook for fitness and wellness professionals. So they show up and they look like professionals. So they show up and they don't have to go, because my cousin had a PhD, 2 masters, 2 bachelors in kin science. She's amazing, right?
Wow.
I didn't think that was the path. Like you said, too much debt, too much time, too many tests. I was like, I'm going to be, like, out of the industry before I even put all those letters behind my name, right? And so, that was the thing. And that kind of goes into, like, the whole perfect model. It's just like, if I can I introduce my friend?
Yeah, you know what? That's awesome. And Cody, you can hang out with us too. And
come on in.
We've got Krista Carner. Welcome to the show. And I love this girl. So again, we have to shout out to Forbes Riley, because Forbes Riley has brought us all together.
Sure.
Well, except my son.
By virtue of you.
But it's brought us all together, and this is where we all first met. And Krista was my partner in crime in all of our events and things that we were doing here. And so would love to introduce you to the show. So Carissa Carner and also Mike's coaching client.
Yes. Well, and my partner, we're actually co-promoting and co-presenting a workshop this weekend. Why don't you tell them a little about your topic? Because when I heard this, I was like, oh man, like I don't think she might have thought that she was in the entrepreneur space. I was like, but I'm gonna drag you in there and like, because entrepreneurs need to hear this message too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm like, we're talking the same language. It might be from different backgrounds based on your market, but it's all the same problem. It's all the same solution.
Yeah,
you know? So,
absolutely.
So, yeah.
And Mike, I just want to make sure that you're in the camera because I can just see like your neck, and I want everyone to see you. And
so it's all about how to give yourself permission to be imperfect, permission to take up space, permission to use your voice, and most importantly, I think for women especially, is permission to be powerful.
I love that. Just gave me the goosebumps because
pretty powerful.
That is powerful, and I can relate to all those things, and I know that every woman can, and young women, you know, mature women, because that's been my thing my whole life growing up, is always perfection at sports, at school, at relationships, at everything, you know, being a daughter and all these things, and being a mom, and it's just like we beat ourselves up like no one's business, and so I love this. You just authored a book.
Yes, I'm working on a book called I'm Perfectly Imperfect.
Okay.
And really my passion is working with women who they know they have something to offer the world. They know they have magic to bring out into the world, but they're stuck in that place that you were just talking about. That perfectionism, feeling not good enough, feeling like if only I were better, if only I were prettier, if only I had more money, if only I had more training, if only I had whatever it is, X, Y, or Z. If only I had that, then I could do this thing I want to do. And, you know, my belief is that you can already do the thing you want to do. It's just clearing away those blocks, right? Just clearing away that perfectionism.
Yeah, and it took me a lot of years to get that. I worked on myself for a lot of years, you know, counseling, whether it was fitness and health, whether it was, you know, just great friendships and great relationships with my family, and really removing those blockages and those emotional, you know, things that keep us held back and keep us stuck. I like the word you use, stuck, because a lot of us are stuck in life, and, you know, like say stuck in this position because you can't go back to school right now, stuck in these, you know, moving forward in your relationships, moving forward in your health and wellness, and all these different programs. So how do we get unstuck, Carissa?
Yes, exactly. And the stuck that you're talking about, you know, when you were talking about fear, you all were talking about fear earlier. I feel like that's a big piece of that.
Absolutely.
And so the program that I've developed, it's actually 3 tiers. So the first is permission, that permission piece. And the second piece to get unstuck is really to get very clear on your purpose, your mission. You know, I think that can really strengthen us as women and men, but really strengthens us as women, especially when we feel that stuckness, when we feel that fear. If we have something bigger that's guiding us, bigger that's supporting us, we can move through those things. So that's really one piece that I work with women on, is helping them to get very clear on their purpose and their mission.
I love that. So what would be the first step? So I'm here with you today, and you're about to sit with me, and you're about to share this valuable piece of information with me at your seminar. And so you would ask the women, what is your purpose? And because when we did these different exercises that we were doing, not physical exercises, but exercises with Forbes and Forbes Factor, we were sitting down. It was like, it challenged me, because I was like, I know my purpose, I know my this, I know my why, I know everything about this and that. But it really, I went home and I went, wow, do I really know? And then I started to write, and I couldn't believe how much content I got from writing. So is that where we'd start asking these women, what is your purpose? Who are you? What is your why?
Yes, it's one way to start, absolutely. And I think everyone should create their own mission statement. So what is your mission statement for your life? Not just for your business, not just for your relationships, but what is your mission statement? And I think it all comes down to also identifying what your magic is. You know, what really makes you special? What are you here on this earth for?
Love that.
So getting in touch with that.
My visual creation is always like, I just saw like magic fairy dust, like a wand over you, and I was like, like Tinkerbell just came in.
It's funny to kind of point out this though, because we've talked about this so many times, like in private and everything like that, and Carissa like already has a thriving practice. You know, she's a practitioner, you know, a psychotherapist, like, and so this is the perfect kind of segue of disrupting your imperfect model. You know, building success, and success is kind of when you want to start to say like, well, is my purpose to be this, or can I pivot now?
Yeah.
It's almost easier to, I would say, it's almost easier to do it while you're successful, because when you're unsuccessful, you feel like, oh my God, like everything's going down, now I have to change.
Yeah.
It's easier implementation-wide, harder to train your brain to be like, well, I had the best year ever, so now I'm going to reinvent my business, and now I'm going to do this coaching, right? And like, it's tough, right? When everyone's like, you're successful, you have a waiting list of clients who want to help you, right? And you're like, and she's like, Mike, now's the time to change my business. I'm like,
I can relate so
right?
much.
And it's tough because, you know, this isn't just like ideas. This is decades of research, of studying the brain. And part of the reason, what she taught me actually, was part of the reason that it's so tough to define your purpose is because, you know, we have different parts of our brain. In the limbic region of your brain, which is kind of like the emotional center, right? It's really hard to, we think in images, we talk in words, but it's really hard to put emotions into words, right? That's not something that like happens. So when you say, what's your why, right? You can feel it before you can speak it,
of course,
right?
So true.
You know, and like, and then, and so now you're stuck because you're like, I know it, but they need to know it, and like, you know, how come like you can't? I know you. So, you know, I'm not going to give anything away because you're going to blow us away at the Imperfectly Speaker, you know, event. But part of it is when you're on stage. I know when I'm on stage, I didn't have all the P's and Q's in. I've talked to like 5,000 people, and they just knew it because I was like, like, you know, and it wasn't proper grammar. Maybe I paused, maybe I slipped or tripped, or I was like, oh man, it's hot in here, you know. But they just knew I was like locked in, right? Versus waiting till I was perfect, and you know, and that's the tough part. Is like. The retooling part of the purpose is like, am I there yet? Like, is it and
patience. What about patience? I mean, to have patience for this, because this isn't an overnight thing. This is not a process where it just happens. So you've got to be patient with it. And so we're going to use me as an example because this will be fun. So myself feeling, you know, I'm in the health and wellness industry. I've been in the fitness industry for almost like a long time. So like since I was a little girl. So I've been doing this for a long time. I feel as if I've mastered it. There's always room to excel and grow and move. But now I've transitioned into the entertainment industry. So for myself, it's hard because you hold on to your love and your passion, and I don't want to let it go, and I won't let it go because that's me and it's in my DNA.
Like your baby.
Just like just like you talked about that DNA. But now it's time to transition, do that pivot you were talking about, and how do you move from this passion into something different? Like, what's the first step? Like, how do you do it? Because a lot of people, you know, they're in their lives and they've had jobs. I talk to people all the time. They've had jobs for 20 years. And they're working for family businesses, whatever, and they want to get out, but they don't know how to get unstuck.
So I think that permission piece is huge for where you are right now. Is to really give yourself permission that you don't have to come out of the gate knowing everything. You know, to give yourself permission to be new. Give yourself permission to take in new information. And at the same time that you don't have to hide and you don't have to be small. You can really allow yourself to just fully embrace it and take up that space.
It's exciting and it's so fun, and that's why people always say, well, aren't you scared? It's like, well, no, because I'm excited. I'm so excited and pumped because this is all new. It's like I'm a kid again. I get to recreate myself and rebrand myself into something different, bigger, and better.
So what, just to segue, like it's permission, purpose, and
presence.
Presence. Okay. What's funny, just kind of like I got this aha right now, right? It's funny how it's like it's pretty much like 1, 2, 3, right? Okay. So as you give yourself permission, right? Then you go and try to define your purpose. But now you're asking permission. Is my purpose okay? Right? You know, like
you're getting thumbs up.
So you're like, you know, like, so now you're like, I got my permission. I give myself permission. Now. It's like, I got to go to the world. Is my purpose, is this okay? Like, is it okay to be, like, this is what I did. I'm like, guys, like, I'm a gym, but I went to business school, and I always, like, partnered with the best trainers, but I was always the business engine behind the branding, the marketing. So my first love is business, and a close second or tied for first is fitness and helping people with their wellness. Is it okay if I teach people business? And then I'm, like, going back, and they're like, no, Mike, we need you to train. We need you to do this. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just stay here. I'll just be, you know, kind of feel limited, or right?
Because you jump back into it, put your toe in the water, and then you're like, oh, but I really love doing this, and I know I'm good at it, and I'm helping people, and I'm motivating people, and inspiring people, and changing people's lives. So it's like, because you just want to hold on to it, because I absolutely love it, and I love being able to change people's lives for the better. So for me, I'm never going to let it go, so I'm always going to have a little bit, of my hold on that. So don't worry to all my clients. I'm not running away.
Not leaving you yet, right?
Not yet, anyway. But it's exciting to be able to do that. And so for people that are stuck in jobs for years at a time, what else would we give to them for advice? Because, people come to me all the time and they go, we're comfortable. It's like being in a bad relationship. We're comfortable. We stay because we know it. You may... I'm not even going to get into that part because my kid's here, but we're comfortable. So we know what we know, and we get what we want out of it. So how do we take that next step and make the jump? It's like, Forbes, we talked about, it's the same quote I love, jump and the net will appear. Yes. Making that leap of faith and getting into that next phase of our lives so we can excel and go into something big and better.
Yes, and I think with perfectionism, that's one of the toughest things, is that we're always looking to get our validation from outside of us. And so when we are really able to trust ourselves and really give ourselves permission to listen inside, that's when we can say, we get clear on our purpose. Oh, I know this is right for me, even though it's scary, even though it's not comfortable, even though I'm working right outside my comfort zone, I'm leaping and I don't know if the net's going to appear, that I know this is right for me and I can trust myself.
Absolutely. And is that the theory that you applied as well? Because you're, I love the smile.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely right. And the purpose is the internal driver. You have to understand that, like, if I may use the metaphor of a fight, right? Like, there was a super fight this last weekend, right? Yeah. And you're going to get hit. It's just, you're trying, like, that's entrepreneurship, that's life. But you can decide whether you get hit in the face or take one on the shoulder. Yeah. A shoulder you can walk away from or you can pivot, right? Assuming that you're not going to get hit, which is what perfection is. I want to go into this and just come out completely unscathed, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the purpose is the thing that's going to help you to, like, roll off those shocks when people judge you, when when you need validation that's not there, when you need support that's not there. When you have to have that internal mechanism. Yeah. The plan is what's going to appear when everything else subsides. Like, everything happens for a reason. I believe that. Yes. And so you're going to go through these stages where it's uncomfortable, and that's when you're growing, right?
The growing pains, those are fun. But
that's kind of like the forest fire. It's what's going to, like, burn all the topsoil off, and it's now you're ready for growth. It's cleared the weeds, so to speak. Yeah. It takes some of the good, but it takes also a lot of the bad, right? And then and now you're, like, prepped and ready to rock, right? You have clear terrain for days, and now you have that soil that's fertile in your mind and in your body. Yeah. Right. And
one of the things I really want to touch on, and I know this from my experience as well, but what about hanging out with certain types of people, so lower vibration people or higher vibration people? Not a lot of us know we don't know what that means. What it means is hanging out. How important is it to hang out with the right people that are going to excel and get you up and growing in your life? Because if we're hanging out with these people that are not doing, these things to keep chipping away and keep getting higher up that ladder, I mean, that affects us so much, and people don't realize it. You are who you hang out with.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because that is huge. And I know even when, I hang out with certain type of people that I'm like, hey, they're fun to hang out with. We go do our thing and party or whatever, or go to the gym. But when it comes to business and really recreating our brands and things like that, it's very important to hang out with people that are succeeding.
Sure. Yes. If I can speak from my personal experience, I struggle with perfectionism my whole life. Like, it's really been something that's gotten in the way a lot for me. And even in my psychotherapy practice, I got my master's degree, I got my license, and I had all these letters behind my name. It didn't matter. I still felt like I wasn't good enough. I was looking for all of these other things to make me feel like I was enough. And it was really when I was very depressed, I was burned out, and I started working with Mike. I knew something changed. I started working with Mike as a coach, and his belief in me really helped to raise my vibration. So it was being with somebody who believed in me and who saw my magic helped me to say, oh, wait, I do have magic here. Yeah. So that made a huge difference for me.
Yeah, I can and I'll vouch second for that as well, because Mike has done that for me. I mean, I already had that belief in myself, but it's just the energy that he applies to it and just makes you feel like, yeah, you are on the right track, and yeah, you can do this no matter what. You take all those ideas, you put them all together. He's like, yeah, you got like 1,500 ideas. He's like, let's put them all together, put them into a big ball, and you're gonna be successful. Just hone in and let's make sure we focus. And it's like, focus, Trace, focus. But you've really done that for me, and I really want to thank you, Mike, because in the short amount of time that we've been working together, it's really made me take a step back and go, okay, what is it I need to do? Let's get clear and concise about this plan. And you've done that for me, but you've also believed in me. You're like, you've got this. You've got this. Someone being a cheerleader for you is like so incredible, especially if we don't have it in our families. I mean, my family and a lot of my friends are back home in Canada, so I don't have those ideas or things to bounce off ideas, off of people. So for me, it's like I hold it in, and I don't have that. So it's huge.
What I think, and just to kind of put some language, right, to the way that I say it, because every market's different. You guys work with people that like I could only wish to reach on a certain level. That's why I'm like a big believer in partnership, right? She was already doing it. You were already doing it, and we all have, like, for me, I'm always like, is anyone going to buy the fact that I believe in like the soft side? Because I'm so like hard by the numbers, right? Like, does Mike have a soft side, right? Like, and so that certainty and that confidence comes from clarity, right? And that clarity that I can help anyone build their business anytime, right? Business, their soul is a different thing. It's not all about money, but it is about having that yin and that yang, right? The mission and having the business blueprint. But with you guys, all I look at is being a pattern interpreter and a pattern interrupter. So we talk about frequency and vibrations. Like, there's a pattern in business, there's a pattern in fitness, there's a pattern in relationships. To be able to interpret whatever pattern you're trying to like create success in is huge. And just like you said, if you can't, like, I have coaches, like I consider you guys my coaches, at least my partners, right? Like, you guys can interpret patterns in people that they might not even see, and to interpret them and interrupt them, because sometimes like there's the angel and the devil. The angel's telling you to keep going, you got it. The devil's like, no, you're already smart, you got a master's degree, like, and which one you listen to and which one you interrupt, right, is huge, right? Because that's how you reel it in, right? A lot of people quit when they're like 5 yards from scoring, like on the 5 yard line.
So true. I'm not taking any of these dream goals to my grave with me. There's no way. People are like, what aren't you doing? And they're like, I'm tired just watching you. And that's when I know I'm doing a good job, because that actually fuels me even more. That gives me more energy. It's like having a cup of coffee, because I'm like, awesome. I'm going to keep going, because I want to keep doing this. It's just like checking everything off the list. It's a big list. We all have lofty goals. So tell us when your book's going to be out, Carissa.
So my book will be out early next year.
Okay.
I'm very excited. It's going to have lots of different exercises, lots of different techniques for people to use. So very experiential, very like hands-on.
Okay. Awesome. And you're also a motivational speaker, and you'll be speaking this weekend here at First Step Fitness in Long Beach. So let's give them the address, give them more details so we can invite people down. And you guys got to come down for this. I'm going to be down here
stage. So being able to be imperfect, to being able to be relatable as a speaker.
And why that sells better than being perfect.
Nice. And that's huge. Yeah. People up in hearts for that, because everyone wants to be a speaker these days, and I know why, because it's amazing when you get up there. It's just so empowering to be able to share your message and your experience and your strength and hope with the rest of the world. So you guys are definitely doing that. You're killing it. I'm super excited to be here today, even though I'm melting away on the screen, so I apologize, guys.
And is it CarissaCarner.com?
Yes, Carissa Carner, Carner with a K, Carissa with a C, is my website.
What about the rest of your social media? How can we find you so we can follow the things you're doing? I know you're on Facebook.
I am, so I'm on Facebook and on Instagram, Live Imperfectly Now.
Awesome. And Cody, I don't know, he just hides out from me on social media, so he might want to share with you guys. I don't know.
I'm now going to be working at Twist Performance and Wellness in Olympic Village, Quebec and East 3rd in downtown Vancouver. I know there's people that still follow my mom that live in Vancouver. You can find me on at Cody Lust on LinkedIn, or Cody X Lust, CODYXLUST on Instagram, Twitter, and things like that, and on Facebook as well.
I'd like to also give a shout out to Peter Twist at Twist Sports Conditioning, where Cody is actually working. Peter is a very good friend of mine, and he has the top school in the planet, like unbelievable, and he's such a great guy. So thank you. I know now you can put the connection together. Yeah. Cody is my son.
We haven't met yet, but I saw you at the North Van location once, and I'll speak up next time I actually see you and say hi.
And Mike, and so where do we find Mike Matuz?
Yeah, so I just created MikeMatuz.com, MATUZ.
Okay.
You go there, you can check out all the cool things we're doing. We have a couple free resources, the Startup Jumpstart Guide. About entrepreneurship, it's an idea, it could be a mission or a cause. It doesn't have to be this like money-making machine that we kind of see. So entrepreneurship can apply in the spirit of entrepreneurship and the tools of entrepreneurship to pretty much any idea, mission, cause, or belief. So either way, it's going to be the same process, the same engine, but at nonprofits to people that want to create a second income, like I want all these applicable skills to help people in any way, shape, or form. And then on social media, Twitter, Instagram, it's at Mike Matuz, Facebook at Mike Matuz, MATUZ, and at Mike Matuz Speaker. And that's my speaker website. I do corporate speaking, college speaking. Just booked a gig. Shout out to SMU, Southern Methodist University. I'm going there in November to do a talk, and super excited.
And Mike, also, we're going to be bringing self-defense class here. We're going to be bringing with Spice William Crosby and Jennifer Silverstein and myself, and we're going to be doing sorry, I'm just going to get rid of that phone call there. We're going to be doing self-defense classes here and confidence, health and wellness seminars as well. I will be included in on that and teaching women self-defense, how to protect yourself from getting hurt and harmed in any dangerous situation. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really happy to be here today. What a great show, great energy, good vibe, and a lot of great people. Thank you to Mike for all you do. Thank you to Carissa for being you and all that you do for the world and giving back. Thank you to Cody for being an amazing kid and coming to visit me in LA. And we're here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at the TLC Unleashed show, Hollywood Vibes, Sports and Life. Until next time, we'll see you guys. Have a blessed day. Bye.